guys. My name is Matthew, for now, though I used to have another name until I was 3, as well as another last name, another home, and another mother. How did this happen to me? Let me tell you. I vaguely remember my early childhood. I was adopted when I was very little, but I remember the day that I got lost, the day when my mother left me. I was very happy that morning because my mom said we were going to Disney World on a big plane. I was so excited. When we got to the airport, my mother placed a little suitcase on the floor and sat me on it. She said she would be back in a minute, but that minute lasted for ages. I was sitting there, squeezing my little red backpack with my eyes filling up with tears. I'm not sure how much time passed, but soon I found myself surrounded by a lot of people, police officers, airport workers, and they were all asking me questions. But I couldn't remember my mother's name or even my own. I couldn't even speak properly at the time, to be honest. And in addition to that, I was stunned and shocked. I also didn't know where I lived, so I wasn't much of a help to the police, who were trying hard to find my family. They checked the suitcase and my backpack and found a note which said, "Take care of him," with no name or address on it. Time went on, but it seemed like nobody was looking for me, and my mother was gone and was never found. The airport workers tried to follow her with the cameras, but she just vanished without a trace. After the police lost any hope of finding my relatives, I was adopted by a very nice family. I got another name and a new home. My new parents gave me all their love and tried to do their best to help me to forget that horrible day at the airport. It's been 11 years now, which I've been absolutely happy, and I grew up to be a totally normal kid. Of course, gloomy memories hit me from time to time, and that painful question, why, was a constant question in my mind, until I finally found out the answer. My new mom and dad are pretty rich and busy people, and since we live in a big house, we've always had maids. We had a wonderful maid, Mrs. Alley, for many years, but she left us a while ago because she moved back to where she was from. I was very upset about it, because we were really close. She was the one I used to spend my time with when my parents were at work. My parents placed an ad on the internet, and we got a call that very day. The next morning, a very nice woman appeared at the front door. I liked her at first sight. Her smile was so charming, and it seemed like I'd known her for ages. Though when she talked to me, it seemed like she was a little bit nervous and uncomfortable the whole time. She'd come to clean the house every day, and soon after we became good friends. She didn't tell me much about herself, but she always complained that her life was not a bed of roses and that she was always out of money. Once she came up to me and asked if I could lend her some money because she had gotten into trouble. She looked so embarrassed that I got really worried for her and gave her my pocket money. Shortly after that, she asked me for money again and again, to the point that after a little while of this, I had nothing left. So when she asked me to do her a favor again, I offered to talk to my parents because I believed that they would not refuse to help a poor woman that was in trouble. I was telling her how kind and generous my mother was, when suddenly she burst into tears and cried out, "I am your mother." I got choked up. I literally could not believe my ears. She told me how much she loved and missed me and that she knew I was adopted and continued to watch me all those years, but didn't have the courage to reveal herself. She said that she was so young and stupid and was not capable of raising a child. I think she said she was sorry more than 1,000,000 times. These words immediately brought all my memories back. I became the same 3-year-old boy, squeezing his red backpack and waiting for his mom. She hugged me tightly and said she would never, ever leave me again, and that she had come up with a great plan. She said we could start all over again and leave together, but we needed money for living. She suddenly became very strict and serious. She said, "You have to steal your father's credit card and find out the password. We'll take the money and run and have a happy life together, Rob." It turned out that my real name was Rob. After she left, I went to my room and collapsed on my bed. My head was just spinning. I had finally gotten the answer to the question I'd had my whole life. But my heart was broken again. How could I steal from my family? And how could my real mother, who said she loved me, really ask me to commit a crime? When my adopted mom came upstairs to say goodnight, she found me lying on my bed and crying. Of course, I told her the whole story right away, but I begged her to not call the police and to not get my dad involved. My mother listened to me quietly and then sighed heavily. I have something to confess to you. This is all my fault. My heart sank. She told me that she had been trying to find my family during all these years. And finally, she did. She knew that all my life I've had this thing hanging over my head, and she believed it would sort things out for me. She found my mother working as a janitor in some bar. She told her about me and offered her a job at our house. When my real mother heard she would get a decent salary, she agreed. And we all know what happened next. Well, it's all over now. I have no idea how my adopted mom managed to find my real mom, but it took her 11 years. Anyway, my real mother never appeared at our house again. I'm trying to get back to normal and just accept it the way it is. I finally got my answers, and I'll have to live with them. It just so happened that my biological mother came into my life to break my heart twice. But I was lucky enough to have a real mother who was there to love me and to heal my broken heart.